Here's Pascal from Germany, and it is Friday, the last day of the short trading week because Monday was a holiday, Washington's birthday. But this is the final day of this trading week, and we have some economic news today. So let's prepare for this in about 15 minutes and see what will happen with the futures here. So the Nasdaq went down a little bit today after we had a huge V shape yesterday. Let's see this giant V shape. We retested the lows and went even a little bit lower than the day before. 12,030 points was the low, or 12,028 was the low. We had lows the day before yesterday of 12,034 points. So we just went 6 points lower yesterday just to trigger some stop losses. And then we had the big V shape, as you can see here, back to the 9 EMA level. Then retest, false breakout here with a red candle, and then the fight back of the bulls. And here you can clearly see we broke the 9 EMA. The parabolic went to an uptrend here to the downside, and then we retested 20 EMA and stayed above the 9 EMA level and had some green candles. Even the volume weighted average price wasn't a real big hurdle here. We went above and we had a 100% reversal yesterday from lows to highs. This was a 1.8% move. So big movements yesterday here for Nasdaq. And today we are a little bit in the red pre-market. As you can see, closing was here yesterday at 4 p.m. Eastern, and we are down about 1% today. Yeah, about 1% in the red today pre-market. Let's see what will happen until the news are out. So let's see the news first. Core PCE price index and personal spending will be out in about 12 minutes. The expected number is 0.4% for the month-over-month number and 4.3% for the yearly number. Let's see if it's higher or lower. If it's higher, like always, there's more fear of inflation and therefore more fear for higher interest rates, which is not good for the market. We had this already yesterday. So let's see if the numbers are in line or lower, then we can see some higher prices. So let's see the previous numbers for core PCE price index. As you can see, the previous numbers here from December and January were 4.7 and 4.4. So the current forecast is slightly below the previous number of 4.4. But the previous 3 times it was just in line. So the expectations were pretty good. So let's see if it's the same case this time and if we can have these 4.3%. And I think this would be bullish if the forecast is met here. So back to Nasdaq. Let's see where are the important levels. Of course, this level here right at the high point from yesterday will be important, 12,250. This was the high point right before the closing, half an hour before the market closed. We had this high point here. Then, of course, the low point of yesterday again. So this was the low point here, right above the 12,000 level, 12,028 points. So we are right below the 12,200 right now. So the next target to the downside would be 12,028, or the round psychological 12,000 area should act as a support. So if we do not hold the levels here at 12,000, I will be out of my long position. I still have the same long position because we didn't went up to 12,300 where my first target was sitting. So the high point yesterday was 12,261 points. I still have this smaller position with 10 micro Nasdaq futures on. The next target here, if we break the 12,000 level to the downside, would be 11,850 points. This would be 50% Fibonacci retracement here. And to the upside, we would still have the highs of yesterday. As you can see, this is the 9 and 20 day EMA level. So we are trading below these levels and they should act as a resistance, as you can see here on a day chart. But if we manage to break above, next target could be right above 12,400. This is the 12,430 points level on Nasdaq March future here. So let's see how the news come out and which direction the market wants to take. We are in the sideways trading phase now, the third day here. So still some decent levels here to go above or below. It's just about a 200 points range here, nothing big for Nasdaq. Let's see if we can have higher or lower levels today and see a breakout of this sideways trading range. Let's see Euro US dollar. It's still weak for the euro, strong US dollar, and this is never a good case for the stock market because the money is pulling back from the riskier assets back into the safe haven US dollar, and we can clearly see that the US dollar is getting stronger versus the euro. VIX was pulling higher this week. Let's see it on a day chart. The day before yesterday we had highs of 23.6. Yesterday it went lower because we had this giant V shape, and today you can see we are almost at the opening level of yesterday at about 22 points, but it's still a low volatility level because if you compare to previous October we were above 30, so there's still a lot of room to the upside, especially if we go below the 12,000 points level. Then we will probably see higher fear and higher VIX levels here. So for ES future, let's see ES future. The ES is still working on its 50% retracement here. So the previous 2 days we could hold above. We just traded below. Yesterday we made lower lows but managed to close above. Normally a good sign here. But let's see what happens today if we want to retest the lows of yesterday or go straight to the next support level here, 3,950 points. So 40 points lower than the current price level would be the next support line. And the next resistance to the upside, 4,050 points. There's the 9-day EMA level sitting. So this would be slightly above the previous day high, which was at 4,034 points. And then to the stocks, let's see Tesla. Tesla is still sideways trading around the $200 area. Nothing really interesting right now. Then we have our Nvidia. And Nvidia was trading higher yesterday. We had the clear breakout, as you can see, above the $230 level. Let's see that on a week chart. So here we were breaking above the previous high. So this was high point 3 times. We were rejected, and then on a 4th time we were able to push higher. So it's now the 5th consecutive row since this breakout here. Normally a good sign. Here was some signs of weakness in the previous 2 weeks, but with the good earnings we were now able to manage to go higher. So we have to close above, and if we close above there's more potential to the upside. Next target here would be around $290. So there's a lot of upside potential here to about 23% upside potential, just the technical potential, because the fundamental value is it's really high valued for Nvidia. I think it's price earnings times 80, something like this, so it's not really cheap. But yeah, sometimes stocks can rally like Nvidia did here from previous October here. The stock rallied 110%, and since the beginning of the year the stock is already up 65%. So it's just a crazy move, and we have more room to the upside if you look back to the previous all-time highs. This is $346. I don't know if we will get there this year, but yeah, if we manage to go there, there's still 43% upside potential. But if you look, it's not in a downtrend anymore. So we have changed from a downtrend to an uptrend. So it's a pretty strong stock right now here for Nvidia. And then we have, let's go back to the futures for crude oil and natural gas, and then we will see the news. So crude oil, where is my chart here? Crude oil. With crude oil, it's still in this sideways phase here. We are waiting for the retest of the neckline. So this one is sitting here at around 73, and this area here 72.50. So this should act as a supporting area. I want to see a retest of this level here, first bounce, and when we break this level, then there will be probably more sell-off here, and 70% chance that we will see a retest from above for this level. It depends on what the stock market is doing. If the stock market is selling off, then probably we will see here more sell-off as well in crude oil. For natural gas, let's move on with natural gas. Where's my chart here? Here. Natural gas is still weak, as you can see, but the previous 2 days we managed to get back a little bit from the previous lows of $2.26 for May future, which is the current front contract month. Yeah, today is nothing special, only 0.4% green. We need to break the previous high points here, which is sitting at $2.84. As soon as we go above, then there's some more potential to go back to the around $3 level. And if we can manage to close above this parabolic SAR, then we will probably see more upside potential here, especially if we close above the 20-day EMA level. We haven't closed above this area since last, what was it, December 16th. So since then we are trading below, and therefore this could act as another catalyst if we close above this level here. I am still in my short put position, $2.50 strike, so add the money, and it's in the green because I can make money when nothing is happening and the prices are just going sideways here. So let's go to the news now and see what will happen for the news. Just one last word for TLT. TLT is still moving down, so still the fears for higher interest rates. So let's see this for CME FedWatch tool. In about 26 days we will have the next FOMC meeting, and we see the fear is rising. Now 27% expectation for a 50 basis points move, only 73% for the 25 basis points move. So the more and more market participants are expecting higher interest rates and a higher, steeper step to the upside. So 1 month ago it was only 2.8%, 1 week ago 18%, and today it's 27%. So you see how fast the expectations are rising towards higher interest rate levels. So the numbers today will be important, of course. Yeah, it's not CPI day. Don't expect movements of 300 or 200 points, but it can, of course, act as a catalyst. So let's go to the 1 minute chart and see what will happen in about 2 minutes. If we will retest the lows of yesterday, or if we will have another chance to retest 12,200, which is just 100 points away here. So the news are here. Just bring this up on one chart so that we can see everything together. Would it be reasonable to take some shorts on crude oil here? Why do you think it's better to wait? Yeah, because you never know. I don't want to be in an early short. I want to wait for the breakthrough because it can also act as a support. The neckline can act as a support level, and we can see a bounce to the upside, and therefore I don't want to be in an early short on crude oil. And because I already have a position in natural gas, I don't want to take another one in crude oil. One last minute before the news are out. Markets are already moving here. And then when the market is open half an hour later at 10 a.m. Eastern, we will have new home sales. Also a number the market is looking for. But you can see that the forecast is about like the previous number. So if it's coming in line, the market won't move a lot. Some more speeches today. FOMC member Masters is speaking. And finally, we will hopefully see some more CFTC data. Commitment of traders. Data was delayed because of a cyber attack since the beginning of February. So we are waiting for about 3 weeks of data. And they want to publish it in the next days. Whoa, big drop here. Let's see how the news were. Are the news out? Not yet. Still waiting for the data to be published here. This was about a 50 points move to the downside. Why does it take so long to publish this data today? Not able to see it. Oh, probably retest of the lows from yesterday. So you see the white line. This was the low from yesterday. Probably the numbers were higher than the forecast, but I cannot see them right now. Don't know why it takes so long today to publish the data. $20 more points and we will reach the lows. But maybe we have already seen the turning point. Sometimes when it's pre-market or lower volume, then we don't exactly hit the low points. This was the low of the day before yesterday. So it can also act as a support. It's just a support area between these two lows of yesterday and the day before yesterday. So here are the numbers. Ooh, higher than expected. 4.7 instead of 4.3%. Not a good sign for the market. Corporate PCE month over month 0.6 instead of 0.4. This is not good at all. And personal spending is higher than expected, 1.8 instead of 1.3%. So we will probably try to hit the 12,000 level and yeah, see if it holds, if there are still some bulls trying to dip buy at the psychological 12,000 level. But these numbers are not good at all. A lot higher than expected. No good signs for the market, and we will probably see more shift in interest rate expectations here to the 50 basis points move, because we still have time, 26 days for the next meeting, and the expectations are shifting up to higher interest rate levels. And probably gold will be triggered down, the same for TLT, both should move down now. Let's see gold, where's my gold chart? Too many charts open here. Maybe I did close, no, here it is. So gold is moving down 0.3%. Let's see this on a lower time frame, and now here you can see this move down because of the high inflation and higher interest rate expectations, and this causes gold to drop, as well as Euro USD. You see the bigger drop now. Let's see it on a 5-minute time frame. You see that the US dollar is getting stronger, because when there's more inflation, then there's a higher interest rate expectation, and higher interest rates mean that it is more interesting to get your money into US dollar to get the interest rates. So gold is pulling back. Let's see if the Nasdaq can also pull back here. It's trying to. Maybe we'll just retest the 9 EMA level. But we will probably see more pull down on the market open, because these numbers were not good at all. But like always, yesterday you've seen the numbers weren't good. Then the market pulled down and made a V shape, so we can see the same again. It's not about the news, it's always about a catalyst, just to see a trigger for the prices to move. So let's see TLT on a 5-minute time frame. It's pre-market, so there's not a lot of movement right now, but we can already see that it was pulling down. Good afternoon, Dylan. So here's another test. Lows of yesterday are reached. 12,025 points was the low. 12,028 was the low of yesterday. So we went 3 points below the low of yesterday. Now the scalpers are coming in. They want to buy here just for 10-15 points to the upside, as you can see. They will close early. So there's still more room to the downside, to the 12,000 points level. And I will probably try to retest and to trigger some stop losses sitting around there, right at the 12,000 area. So we will probably see a bull and bear fight. And remember, today is Friday, so we have the weekly expiration. It's not a big expiration day today, because it's not a monthly expiration. It's not a third Friday of the month. but we have normally a lot of expirations from weekly options on Fridays, and especially on 0-day options, because more than 50% of the trading volume in derivatives are made in 0-day options. And therefore we can see a lot of movement on Fridays because the market makers have to hedge their positions. So if a lot of puts or calls are opened at the 12,000 area, then there will be a lot of market making and hedging activities at around this area at 12,000 points. And therefore we can still see these V-shapes today like we have seen yesterday, because there will be a downward or an upward spiral because of these hedging activities from the market makers. So let's see what will happen here if we retest the 12,000 area. 15 points to go to the downside. $12 points, 10 points. It's moving fast now. Sometimes we stop right before the 12,000. If the bulls are strong, we stop before the 12,000, but probably they will try to test the level of 12,000 and try to get just below, maybe 5 or 10 points below the 12,000, just to trigger all the stop losses sitting there at this psychological level. That's pretty common. 12,007 points was the low. Still some points to do for the bears. Yes, I'm still in a long position, Dylan. The same position I had yesterday. So if we move below 12,000, so 11,985 is my stop loss. If we go there, then I'm out of my long position. We'll take the losses, but it's a small position for my portfolio, so it won't be a big loss. And I already knew that I was trading against the main trend. I was talking about this in the previous live streams, that I took an early long and that I'm trading against the trend. So I knew what I was doing here. So low was 12,006 points. $12,000, here we are. 12,002 points. 12,000 is reached. Stop losses are triggered below the 12,000 level now. Let's see if the bulls can fight now. 11,996 is the low. Is there more sell-off? Bears are strong. Lower levels or not? $91, $90. If we go lower, I'm out of my long position. If we hold there, it's a good sign that the bulls can take over, but doesn't look like. It's pretty weak today. Pretty weak. And here we are. My stop loss is triggered. So I'm out of my long positions now. But I'm able to go in later, maybe at the lower level again, if we see a V-shape. So I would wait for the first 2 or 3 hours of trading, because we still have some room to move more to the downside. But we are still able to do this V-shape like we did yesterday. So always prepare for this. It can happen every time. Even if the numbers were bad, the market can turn bullish again, especially because of this 0 DTE effect with all the market makers. We can have a V-shape. I wouldn't trade it. I wouldn't trade, just go in a long trade and hoping for this V-shape. But just keep in mind, if you are short, that every day it can happen if the news are bad as whatever you think. So the news are just a catalyst for the movement. But the movement can turn like it did yesterday. Even on bad news, we can see positive turns. And therefore be cautious. Can you evaluate QQQ? Why should I? It's the same like Nasdaq. So QQQ is the same like Nasdaq. So it's moving the same way, the same percentage. Are the bulls now trying to take over here? Was it just triggered on point? Sometimes it happens to me that I'm triggered with my stop loss on point. We will just watch 5 more minutes and then I will cut the live stream and let you trade yourself. So do you have another stock you want me to watch? Just write it down in the live stream chat. Let's see orange juice. Orange juice was now pulling back above the previous resistance here, pulling into the open gap here, and I want to wait here for the $2.45 level to short again. So I want to see a gap close and then take on a short trade here. So I'm watching it closely, and as soon as we reach this area here, I will take on some shorts. And Palantir, we were talking about this in previous live streams. I was talking about the $8 level. And look what happened yesterday. Right after the opening, we went to the $8 level. We had lows of $7.91. So my prediction was not too bad. If we want to go long, wait for a partial close of this gap here. So previous high of this gap was $7.77. So it was partially closed. We still have some cents here to close it full. But as you can see, the $8 is a psychological round level. We just pushed below, triggered some stop losses, but pre-market we are already trading below $7.88. So sometimes you always get a second chance for a stock. Therefore, don't get into FOMO. Always wait for your levels to come to buy in at a cheaper price. What is the next supply level where we could start and bounce? For the Nasdaq, let's see the next level. So on a day chart, if you are swing trading like I am, I would wait for the 11,850 area. There's the next bigger support, and you see this was a previous low point. The previous low point was 11,871 points. So this should act as a support. So we still have room here to the downside if we cannot hold this 12,000 level. So we are trading below the 12,000 right now, but I would still say it's just stop losses triggering. So as long as we are not trading more than 20 points below 12,000, everything is fine. The bulls can still take over. But yeah, it will be difficult because we are already trading below pre-market. And when the market is open, there will be more volume, more push down because of the bad news probably. So we will see lower levels. But yeah, if we want to trade a V-shape, then maybe be prepared to trade it here at the next support level, 11,850 and 11,870. Around this area should be a major support. As you can see, we had some openings and closings here in these days on end of January, and we had a low point here on January 31st. Therefore, I believe, and because we have the 50% Fibonacci here, I believe it should act as a support level. But it's downtrending. We were talking about this, lower, making lower lows, making lower highs. So it's a downtrend. So if you are trading to the long side, even on a swing trade like I am, always keep in mind you are trading against the trend. So we are now lower, 11,975, so it's clearly bearish. Give it some room, give it some time, and wait. If you want to trade against the trend, wait for the entry, long entry levels to come. XOM, yes, we can analyze XOM, and then I will close out this live stream for today. Exxon, let's see this chart. So it's pulling a little bit back like crude oil prices. We had a dividend here paid in the beginning of February, 91 cents. And it's pulling back. We had lower lows, so it's not a good sign here that we made lower lows. but we pulled back here, so it's still trying to stay above this support area here. As you can see, previous low, we closed right at the lows on February 22nd, so the day before yesterday. But when we close this week below this level, below $109.70, I would say it's clearly bearish. So there would be more downside potential, and I wouldn't want to hold a long position if we close below. Because watch this here. It's still uptrending, making higher highs and higher lows. But here is an important level, because you clearly can see this is not a good sign if we are going lower than this here. And yeah, let's draw a Fibonacci from the previous low point here, from September, and there we see the next important level. We are trading right at the 23.6% level, or in between these low point from the day before yesterday and the Fibonacci level. So it's a support area, but it should hold. If we do not hold this area, we will probably see more pulling down. 38.2% area is at the $106 level, and probably we will see lower levels here. Previous high points, 50% Fibonacci, which is at right below $102. So more downside potential, and about 7.8% downside potential if we break these levels. This was the previous low point, as you can see, so we will probably see a retest when the crude oil prices are dropping and the stock market is dropping. Then probably Exxon will also drop here. Okay, hope you had some good insights today. I wish you a nice trading day and some profits for your weekend. We will see us next week. Always stay green. I wish you a nice weekend. Goodbye.